So game 2 on Battlefield of Eternity. So Nexus Cats opting for the first pick. Let's see if they have a specific strategy that they are trying to implement. It is Battlefield of Eternity, so it might be a little bit tricky to, you know, implement a specific draft given the nature of this composition, or nature of this map, excuse me, and how it requires you to build your composition around the immortal damage. But I guess we'll see. Hanzo banned, followed by Anubarak. Anubarak probably not get to see the light of day in a lot of games in Nexus Gaming Series. Seems like a very strong tank that was at the top of the meta even before all the changes, and then all they did was nerf his W cooldown a little bit. He still is going to stay on top, I think. Tyrande getting banned. Definitely a strong map for her. So good to get her out of the way, especially considering the Tyrande pick maybe didn't go so well for Nexus Cats in that last game. So Stukov getting banned away from Nexus Cats. And let's see what the first pick is. And they're going to go ahead and grab the Diablo. Definitely an interesting first pick considering we still have Ana, Johanna. But it is a main tank for them, so I guess it's already looking better than their last draft in terms of Orthodox. Jaina Johanna getting picked up for Die for Vision. I think the reason I'm so curious about the Diablo pick is I think it's probably one of his worst maps. Definitely a lot of the fights are in these big open areas. I guess similar to Volskaya last game. So it's hard to find those stones on the walls. Especially near the Immortals. But Rhaegar, Greymane getting picked up. Two really, really strong heroes here, especially with the Diablo. Good follow-up. Greymane obviously recently buffed. Cursed Bullet into Johanna's totally great. Probably honestly pretty hard to hit on her, but even despite that, his auto attack does more damage, lets him to more race than the Immortal. In the Rhaegar, just a good aggressive support who can keep his Greymane up. And do some decent immortal damage as well. Li Ming getting banned out definitely would be a scary hero with this composition. Maybe the double resets with Go for the Throne and Li Ming would be a lot to deal with. And they would outrange the Jaina as well. And I think I want to see the Ana ban here. Considering they have Johanna, Jaina, seems like too good of a hero to let through this draft right now. But they ban the Sylvanas. Interesting. Definitely also a strong hero. I mean, when you do win that Immortal, she makes the push a lot stronger with her trait. And again, she has decent race as well. But Lucio Cassia coming up. And already, this is a really weak Immortal race for Die for Vision, and they still don't have their soul in her yet, so who normally doesn't apply a lot of race damage unless it's something like Artanis or maybe a Sonya. But just looking at the drafts right now, it seems like Imperius, Vala rounding it out for Nexus Cats. Definitely the race all the way in favor of Nexus Cats right now. Let's see what the last hero is for Die for Vision. Definitely going to be hard to find a soul laner this late in the draft that does well into Imperius, but Arthas is definitely one of them. And I do like the Arthas pick a lot. I think it makes the Diablo engage a little bit more difficult. Diablo goes in and he just has a really, really hard time getting out, especially with the Arthas and the Jaina and the Lucio to speed those heroes up. And obviously the Greymane's going to be diving in on the backline as well. So between the Johanna and the Arthas to kind of deny a lot of these auto attack based heroes, Greymane, Imperius, Vala, even Rhaegar to some extent, and the Cassia blinds to boot, I do think that despite how the race is in the favor of Nexus Cats, I do think Die for Vision has this draft. Being an offlaner myself, I know that playing Imperius into like double blinds like Johanna and Cassia can just feel so bad. Like when you don't hit those auto attacks that proc your trait, it feels like a very worthless hero, and his PvE is even worse. But game 2 on Battlefield of Eternity. For Nexus Cats, we got Arthano on the Vala, that guy on Greymane, Lulu on Rhaegar, Mark Zombie on Diablo, and Shadowguard on the Imperius. And then for the red team, Die for Vision, Sulfide on Cassia, Atlas on Arthas, Shamhat on Lucio, Casey on Jaina, and Leonidas on Johanna. So Arthas Imperius will be in the top lane like we expected. The Q build from Vala. And Burnley Imperius from Imperius. I do think that the double blinds almost makes this talent, which is normally a go-to, maybe not quite the pick that should be happening, but he's going to go for it anyway. It definitely will still be worth against Arthas in the solo lane. Diablo camping out in this bush, seeing if anyone is overstepping. Definitely, it doesn't look like Die for Vision knows that he's there at all. And he's going to find a pick on the Cassia, maybe. There's the flip into their stun into the wall, but good peel from his team. Diablo's actually going to take a lot of damage for that. And between the Johanna W and the blinds on all the damage dealers, Cassia took basically nothing. As far as early game goes, I do think that both teams are honestly pretty bad. The Vala damage and Greymane damage are pretty good, and it's going to be good poke to maybe force Die for Vision to walk away for the most part. But don't underestimate the charge strikes from Cassia as well. She has the potential to output so much damage, especially when she has the help from the blinds from Johanna. So already the structures for Nexus Cats taking a lot of damage. That front wall is almost completely taken out just from the Cassia and the Jaina. Diablo finds this flip on Johanna, but she doesn't care. She's just here to clear the wave to get that push going, and I think they're going to get a lot more damage as well. Jaina still has most of her cooldowns, and they're probably going to get this top tower. Meanwhile, on the top lane, it's looking like a pretty Arthas-favored matchup right now. Not much Imperius can do about it. But we'll check back in on them later. Meanwhile, Diablo getting super low, and this top tower is eventually going to go down. I can't help but wonder if maybe Nexus Cast just needs to focus a little bit more on just clearing the wave. Being a little bit more passive, especially with their frontline heroes into that Cassia poke. So the Bruiser camp's going to be started for both teams. Vala going to do her best to defend this bottom lane, but I do think that this tower is going to end up falling just with Jaina and Johanna alone. Vala forced it back before this Immortal fight happens. And the camp capped, honestly, a little bit early from Nexus Cats. This kind of timing around the 250, 3-minute mark is definitely a little bit more what you're looking for. So if they want to, Die for Vision can just clear this before the fight even happens, but looks like they're just going to go straight for the Immortal, doing as much damage as they can. But again, the race is definitely going to be a factor right here. 4 heroes on the top Immortal, definitely going to be able to burst it down a little bit faster than those on the bottom. Both teams kind of ignoring the Bruiser camps in each lane, just focusing on the Mortal. And I think Die for Vision knows that their race is a little bit poorer, but Imperius maybe being a little bit too aggressive, didn't realize that Die for Vision was going to defend their thing. Gonna lose his life for that, but he'll be up in 10 seconds. It shouldn't be that long. Vala only 1 stack on her Q quest. Definitely needs to make sure that she's not missing those Qs on the Immortal right now. Cassia has already moved over to the other side and doing her, some good amount of damage over there. Greatmane trying to get something done on the backside of this, but he is looking to get caught out. The Lucio Boop is there. But nobody else to really follow up, and he should be able to just walk away. Meanwhile, the rest of the blue team has worked onto the Immortal. Vala doing as much damage as she can, but they still don't have enough. Cassia is still fighting the Immortal on that side. But they do manage to drop it just barely in time, at the cost of Vala's life and probably Diablo's as well. But he does find a flip onto Arthas, maybe oversteps a little bit, and Arthas is going to get taken out. So a 1-for-1 trade, honestly really nice for Nexus Cats. They are a little bit behind in XP. Die for Vision is going to hit level 7 real quickly, but they do have Imperius walking down to the bottom lane to sort of alleviate that. Diablo with a good charge onto Cassia, but not finding the stone on the wall. And it looks like they're going to be able to grab this front wall no problem, but Rhaegar stepping too far forward, getting deleted by Jaina. Unfortunate for them there. Nexus Cats forced to walk away, but they do grab that front wall. Interesting, Imperius has grabbed Press Forward as his level 4 talent. It's definitely going to make his matchup against Arthas a little bit easier. Every time he auto-attacks him, he's going to be able to reset that regen globe, or every time he damages him, excuse me, he's going to be able to reset the regen globe timer. And already he's doing a lot of work onto the Arthas. One of the best parts about that talent is that as an Imperius, you just get to throw out all your abilities. You have so much sustain in terms of both health and mana. Diablo finds a nice pick on the Lucio. The burst damage is definitely there, and he's going to fall. Definitely a really nice pick. Is Greymane going to fall? He is not. The Cassia Q just barely missing him as he disengages over the wall. Diablo barely making it out as well. And 1-for-0 trade for Nexus Cats that honestly gets them a little bit more even in terms of XP. In the bottom lane, you can see suddenly after that level 4 talent was picked up, this is being a lot easier for Imperius. That being said, that level 4 talent that he chose is going to be really helpful in the solo lane, but it's going to really make his sustain in team fights a lot worse considering he doesn't have the healing on his trait anymore. That being said, there are a few blinds on the other team, so maybe it was unrealistic for him to think he could proc that. Die for Vision moving on to the Immortal very quickly. They're going to be able to burst it down and trigger this halftime show with relative ease. Neither team has level 10 right now, so I imagine we are going to see a team fight happening over this blue Immortal. But no, instead, Nexus Cats thinks they have the faster burst, and honestly, it might pay off for them. They do have a lot of damage with the Vala, the Greymane, and the Rhaegar, and who is going to get this Immortal? It comes down to 705 health, and wow. Nexus Cats almost had that. It was so close. No heroics here for either team. Both solo laners going to stay in the bottom lane, make sure that they can get that heroic talent tier as soon as possible for their team. But Die for Vision is going to grab it first. Here we go. The Ball Lightning for Cassia, Army, Sound Barrier, Ring of Frost, Blessed Shield. Everything pretty standard for the most part. Diablo maybe walking a little bit too far out. There's not really a reason for him to be there right now. Just needs to let his Greymane and Vala do a lot of the poke. But they're going to be okay. I see the Lightning Breath picked up. And Strafe as well to get a lot of damage down. The Lucio Sound Barrier comes out honestly doing pretty much nothing. This does the Blessed Shield. That's a couple big heroics that are down for Die for Vision, and they need to be careful here. Definitely a very, very strong defense from Nexus Cats. They barely held on to this fort, but Diver Vision can walk in and, you know, shield glare it to death. And it looks like Diablo's going to walk into a few heroes here. He's going to be okay for the most part. Gets a charge on the minions to help him get out. Rhaegar heals are there. Ancestral is still up, but I don't think it's going to be needed. Maybe after that ring, he's going to hold on to it. Lucio doesn't find the boop, and the Ancestral is used. And that is the key for Die for Vision to walk onto this camp. Diablo still feels like he can take this team fight, though. But the Cassia Ball Lightning is going to do so much damage. Greymane finds a pick on one of the red team members, but Diablo will fall as well. 1-for-1 trade, but the camp goes to Nexus Cats. And man, there's just a lot of these little small skirmishes that are happening that honestly are going pretty even, but end up being in the favor of Nexus Cats, and they're kind of clawing their way into this game. Imperius having a rough time on this bot lane against Arthas. Is going to have to back. Vala will rotate down to pick up the soak. And the Diablo Souls getting taken out in that last team fight is definitely going to be very rough. I mean, yeah, they got that camp and that little bit of XP towards level 13, but losing Diablo Souls, that's so much health that he's now missing that he won't have in those team fights. Definitely a hero that you have to prioritize to keep up in these team fights. Die for Vision getting on the Immortal already. Diablo doing his best to poke it out, trying to get some stalls with his level 7 W talent, or level 4 W talent, excuse me. But halftime show being triggered by Nexus Cats, as a matter of fact. And their Immortal is a little bit healthier. Die for Vision getting very aggressive here, trying to find a pick on someone, but they don't find it. Meanwhile, Greymane is maybe a little bit too far out here. Nope, he's going to be okay as Nexus Cats rotates down. There is a Bruiser camp pushing in the top lane for Die for Vision. Level 13 is not quite here for either team, but at some point that has to be responded to, or a team fight needs to be taken right now. Ring of Frost comes out, but it's through the Lightning Breath. Rhaegar falls, as does Imperius. So much damage. A really, really good sound barrier from Lucio keeps most of his team up, and Diablo is going to fall as well. And this is going to be an Immortal for Die for Vision. Vala is rotated top to finally clear that Bruiser camp. Definitely just some really split team fight from Nexus Cats. Seemed like they were kind of all over the place. The Diablo Lightning Breath was there, but the sound barrier just to sustain through it and allow the Jaina, Ring of Frost, and the Cassia damage to come out was definitely enough for Die for Vision to take that team fight. So the Mortal pushing in the bot lane. Level 13 is now here for Nexus Cats, so they are at least on even talent tiers now. Diablo again taking the devastating charge. Going to try and find those Q stuns. And now that Vala has her sustain on 13, it's going to be a lot easier to keep her up in these team fights. She hasn't quite completed her Q quest yet. Actually, she's only halfway done, as a matter of fact. And the reverse amp is going to definitely be able to pick off Greymane. He got caught a little bit too far out. And definitely a death that was just kind of unnecessary. I think it was very clear that this fort just wasn't going to be defended. And Nexus Cat's trying to hold on to it, loses a hero for that. The Ring of Frost hits nobody, but Jaina's rooted on the backside, and Cassia is definitely going to be able to take her out. Lucio's Sound Barrier helps his team sustain through the Lightning Breath once again. And Rhaegar is going to fall. Imperius ult is not going to connect. And that is 3 heroes down for Nexus Cats. And Die for Vision is looking to end the game. They still have a half health Immortal. It is not going to be alive for very long, considering we're only 12 minutes into the game. But there's not going to be much that Nexus Cats can do about it. Greymane's going to try his best, but the core is already so low. 17%, 11%. Greymane falls, Imperius falls, and that is game 2. Die for Vision. GG's.